Up everyone, this is Aztec 101 in the ring, and this is a response to D Styles. What's up, D Styles? Thank you, fucking Captain Obvious. I know about Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm glad you brought him up. Um, I feel like you made my argument stronger, and my point was that you said it in your video. You vaguely said it, but you said it, and you covered it up with bullshit on both sides. It's in your video. Word for word, you said Mexican Americans have a hard time gaining support. That was my entire point, right? Will a Mexican American ever become the face of American boxing? My stance is still no. And no, I don't think that Oscar De La Hoya was ever the face of American boxing. He was popular. He was fucking popular. He was fucking popular, and he had the skills to back it up. He was very popular. He was very popular among women. He was very, very fucking popular. And in the United States, he made a lot of money, right? But was he the face of American boxing? Because behind him, there was Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. There were so many fighters. Pernell Whitaker. So for you to tell me that he was really the face of boxing for America, was he? He made a lot of money. He was very popular. So was Camacho. Was he the face of American boxing? That's my point. No, that's not gonna happen. Americans are not looking towards the Mexican American fighter. There's a lot of fighters out right now. You know, there's Chris Arreola, there's fucking Mikey Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz, right? Mauricio Herrera. Um, we have a fight coming up, Benavides, on PBC. Who's gonna talk about that, right? I don't see any posts up. Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz is a Mexican American fighter. Brandon Rios, a Mexican American fighter, but do Americans that are not of Mexican descent, do they give a fuck about these fighters? Do they support them? Do they care whether they win or lose, or are they just the opponent to the American fighter? If Oscar De La Hoya was really the face of American boxing, then why the fuck was Felix Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya not coined USA versus Puerto Rico? See, this is the bullshit that I'm talking about. Is that we and you know what? I get your point, man. I get your point. On a technicality, you're right. Yeah, but see, this isn't an issue where I want to be right. I really don't want to be right on this. Saying that Mexican Americans have a hard time gaining support in the United States is not something I want to be right about. You got to understand that my comment, why did it bother you so much? Because it's true. It's true. The fact that you came at me with one fighter, I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it real. I mean, if you're white, anything but Mexican American, if you're white, if you're black, you're American. And you know you've been here for a long time. You know you've been participating in a certain industry. And there was only one guy to represent you. Wouldn't you think there's a problem? Especially if you're actively participating in that fucking industry. You don't think there's a problem? Oscar De La Hoya was a fucking phenom. It was crazy. It was crazy. Came in at a perfect time. And not there hasn't been a Mexican American fighter that can duplicate that. That can even get close. Jesse Vargas right now he's Mexican American, but you know it'll take another Mexican American fan base, which is what's left over. You know, even Oscar De La Hoya fans. Even the way you explained it in your video, bro. I don't know if you know the difference between most and half. But you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that half of your house was split, but most Mexican Americans you knew hated him. Because that wasn't the case. When Oscar De La Hoya was coming up, there was no social media. And from what I remember, the house was split as well. Most of what I'm trying to get across, I'm I, I'm not trying to get across that this is an impossible feat. My point isn't to be right about this being impossible. But I got the conversation started. And the fact is that Mexican American fighters have a very hard time being considered American fighters and having American support. Period. I mean, it is what it is. You see it all the time. This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.